Hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk here on Shelbyville now.
Real talk.
And Bo, we got a few things to talk about today,
We've always got some.
and there's one thing in particular I'd like to talk about that's of some local interest. TCAT, our Tennessee College of Applied Technology.
There you go. That's
Shelbyville campus, that
Yes.
new fancy building out
Fancy.
on North 231 North.
used to be on Madison Street. Way out.
Yeah,
east.
and I
It
don't
still
know.
kind of is.
I don't know what the start date is, but they've got stuff moved in out there,
Oh,
and it's ready to go.
it's moving and shaking. I mean, every day, probably for the last 3, I don't know, maybe 4 weeks, it's been packed. And I assume that it takes so much to outfit these classrooms. I mean, you've got tech classes, you got welding, you've got different type of classes that require, a lot of little extra bells and whistles inside. They need compressors, they need computer labs, they need drafting machines, all this stuff. And they've been outfitting this, I would assume, because the building got up and the walls are up and the foundation and the air's blowing. Well, now it's time to fit it up. And I believe that it seems like that somebody's there every day. I don't know if they're having students there. They might be.
I don't think they got students in there
Because
yet.
I do know that the one is running on Madison Street. It's
Josh is wanting to know if we're on the USB mic.
well,
Josh, hold on just a minute. Let's see. Does it sound bad?
it must sound bad if Mr. Blevins comes in with some
Let me
negative
look.
feedback.
But we want to be loud
Okay,
and clear
all right,
as
so-
we can be.
So I just swapped. We must have been on the camera mic. Is that better, Josh? Hello.
And we appreciate that
This
feedback.
is just real talk.
This
So
is real
this
talk.
is an informal gathering.
Yeah, no behind the
Uh,
scenes here. Everything's in front of the scenes. Or behind the front of the scenes or something.
Okay. All right. So is that better, Josh? Okay. We're gonna talk.
We're
All
going
right,
to talk
so-
some real talk.
Yeah. That's the only
Well,
thing
look,
we can
here,
talk. All right.
regardless of our microphone, here's what's happening. That place is booming. And the one on Madison Street, it's still a lot of traffic there. But I'm looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to, I think it's going to have an impact as far as
Oh,
the
absolutely.
education
Yeah.
of
Let me
our
tell you
young
something.
ones.
I can think back to when I was in high school. We had an opportunity to really engage in vocational school, and I took industrial electricity. I had some friends that were in auto mechanics. I had some guys that did drafting.
Mhm.
I know some guys that did the heating and cooling stuff,
Yep.
the HVAC training, and then there was just about every trade you can think of. We actually went out and wired a house or two, and the HVAC people did they, of course, we had adult supervision. We
Oh, of
wasn't just
course.
a bunch of monkeys running around.
But you see how it works in the real world.
Yeah, and we got that hands-on experience. I did it for 4 years, and I came out. That was a potential career, but it's helped me. That has helped me do what I do today by having a business, because I can do some electricity stuff.
No doubt about it. And with the development we have right now, and that we're going to continue to have, commercial development, residential development, just regular maintenance on the hands-on jobs we need.
Yeah, but that was what I was getting to. A lot of those guys, a lot of them have already retired. They're at that age to
Right,
where
right.
some of them have already retired from a career in auto mechanics.
Right.
Working at having their own business,
Yep.
or working for a dealership, or moved out and they did some stuff. I know one guy that took auto mechanics. He ended up going into the Air Force. And he turned into a helicopter mechanic.
Yeah.
He worked on
A
helicopters.
lot of people
all right?
around here go to AEDC and work.
Yeah,
They're
and most
mechanics there.
everybody that you see right now that's doing HVAC in this area, I know a few of them. They went and they took it in high school.
Mhm.
Okay, they
Oh, yeah.
came right out of high school, hitting the ground running, and then within 3 or 4 years, some of them had their own business
Oh,
going.
yeah.
And
I know the same people in my generation.
Yeah,
They worked for good local people, and the local people knew, hey, this is a good guy. I know I'm going to lose him
Yeah.
in a few years.
Well, some
but
of
they
them
taught 'em.
actually sold their businesses when they
Yeah,
were
that's
ready to
right.
retire. I know several cases
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I know
Okay.
Art McCamey. I mean, that's a homegrown one I'm just thinking of off the top of my head. Most of them here that have the reputations are homegrown heating and cooling. I mean, auto mechanics.
It's just, I think about the welding. I know several guys that ended up going to ADC as welders.
Yes.
And some people went into work with a machine shop. And you look at Cooper Steel right now, the amount of welders they're going to need, that's got to be a huge And I know they're building a school out there.
Yeah.
But I just wonder if there's welding being taught at TCAT too. It
Oh,
could
yeah.
be. I don't know.
I would say that there's a fundamental,
or maybe Cooper is going to coordinate with them. Or
yeah,
something.
and they, I'm sure they will. But I think that there's just a fundamental, concept of whatever it is you'd like to get in. That's what they're teaching there.
Greg Davenport's talking about, and the up and coming youth won't do construction. So now what? I guess we're going to have to pitch tents, Greg. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're going to have the workers. The Hispanics, we still have, if you go to the housing and see those, the Hispanics, you see a lot of those working out there, and they're taking, and it's not a race thing or anything. It's who wants to work thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you want to work, you're going to work. And that's what we've got right now.
Yeah. Well, it's an opportunity, and I think we're going to see the fruits of it down the road. We're going to have a workforce there. That's one thing that we have,
a blue collar.
We have lacked for some businesses to come in that need a workforce. So you go back to Stanley Tools, and you go back to Uniroyal. There was a workforce, an industrial type workforce back then, and they all went away. And because they went away, it seems like that faded. It was, you got to go to college. And now Mike Rowe has been on a crusade for the last 5 years to try to correct this, that you still have a lot of worth, and maybe even more worth, if you have a trade versus a college degree, because people are getting, basic college degrees come out and they end up going to McDonald's to work.
And it seems to be a more rewarding way to work. I mean, you're doing with your hands, and then you build up, and then you kind of watch it go, but you're still around there. It's not just, the plumber that's just, you work your way up, from the small, we talked before, be the best plumber you can be the best plumber you can be, and work your way up,
Well,
it's having a value of what you do.
I remember a young guy that was getting into some of the plumbing electrical business. And he wanted to make a career out of it, and I think he still does. But I can remember him getting his training, and he got out to get a job, and he was going to make $15, $16, $17 an hour. This is 3 years ago. Well, that's just not enough.
Yeah.
Well, you can't start out on top, Bo. You gotta pay your dues. You gotta prove yourself before somebody's going to throw a lot of money out. And I guarantee you that Greg will testify to that. You can't just start paying somebody $25, $30, $40 an hour when they ain't even got any experience.
That's
you got to
exactly
get
right.
experience.
It's exactly right.
And a lot of these kids have got to understand there's going to be a couple years there of like nip and tuck.
Yeah. And you know what? When you work like that, and when you work maybe a little cheaper, but you're still honest, you still show up on time or early, and you still do the best job, slowly your income will rise, because you're going to be
in high demand if you show up.
That's it.
If you just show
there's
up,
a few fundamental characteristics if you use and apply to it, just naturally you're going to grow. I mean,
it's like my daddy said, you ain't no good if you ain't there. All right. And he always said, if you're 5 minutes early, you're late.
Oh yeah. Well, that's
you need to be there. You need to be the first one there, the last one to leave, and take the shortest lunch possible. You always are like,
well, and I'm not the world's best sometimes, but I do notice when I show up ready and I'm prepared and I'm relaxed to whatever time I'm ready to do my job. When I come in on two wheels, and I think I'm already behind in my mind, and it's something that we don't talk about enough, because it's just things we go through on a daily basis. But if we could slow down, allow enough time, we can do that. And just being on time means a lot.
Yeah.
Being on time, or being present,
just show up.
Yeah, and communication. Let's talk about that. Don't just show up and not tell me. We understand life happens, but communicate.
And if you just don't feel good one day, that's the days you got to work through.
Yes,
not just lay around on and call in sick. And you're not sick, okay?
Right.
Somebody better be in the hospital.
And I've had those days where I wanted to, and then at the end of the day, I feel so much more. I don't know. There's like a sense of accomplishment because I pushed through. I don't know.
These are basic work ethics we're talking about.
Yeah.
And you pair that work ethic with some talent that you're going to gain at a school like TCAT.
Yes.
And you got a leg up, and you're going to be in high demand. That's just bottom line.
Yeah.
So if any kids out there listen, when I say kid, if you're 25 or younger, do these things and you will succeed. That's the bottom line.
Amen.
All right. Let's move on and talk about something else. Josh and I talked a little bit about it. Construction dirt is starting to turn out on the new juvenile detention center. And we were going to build an 11,000 square foot juvenile detention center. And we brought this up, and you know about this as well.
Mhm.
It was going to be about $8 million. So we backed down and say we're going to spend $6 million, and we're going to scale it back a little bit, get the money, wrote the check, and then come to find out we're going to get 5,000 square feet.
Yeah.
That's smaller than this building we're sitting in right here.
We're getting a small amount.
Yeah, so, and I'm sure that's enough to handle the 2.9 kids that we keep on average.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
2.9.
Well, actually, we're kind of back to where the arguments were when this all began. You know, we don't need anything that big. We don't need that to spend this much. If we need a new one, let's get something
Here's my
smaller.
question.
And here we are.
When you start to plan something like that, and you say, well, this is what we've got to have, and then you end up with, this is what we're going to end up with. Well, what happened to this? Well, this is what we got to have. Are we going to come back, start screaming, we got to add on after this is built?
Well,
Another question for you, Bo.
yeah, go ahead.
What happened to our shooting range?
That's one that's kind of really fallen behind the cracks, and I'm sure that it'll be picked up this next season when we have this election coming up. You know, I'm sure that'll be a question that comes up, maybe to a sheriff, maybe to a county mayor, maybe to some county commissioners that will be running for office, and they might be wondering the same question, because let's just look at the tax system, our new radios, the county
we got that.
We got that. Well, now it took a little pushing. It sounds great.
It works.
I listen to it every day. If you don't listen to it on Shelbyville Now, make sure you get that. It's a free thing.
Yeah, it's on the. If you want to see what's going on, you can hear everything.
But yes. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know if a little grandstanding has to happen. Maybe to get this.
What?
What did I say? I'm sorry. I don't know. What is that? You know, do we need a definition of grandstanding? But maybe we need to ask a question. Just to ask simple question.
But that, you see stuff like this happen.
You do,
and it sounds like something really good's going to happen. And I think basically what happened there, I think you start saying, well, it's going to cost $250,000, and it ends up, oh no, well, we forgot about this, and oh, by the way, we got to get state permits, and we got to do this. The next thing you know, it's $2 million.
And they're working off the cuff right now. I think they've got a place right on the county city that they used to use. I don't know if they're still using it, but they got to train somewhere. I know that there's sometimes complaints, but it's not too bad. They don't wear it out.
You're talking about by the river?
Yeah, by the
old
river
place
there.
where the city does everything. It's hey, what's wrong with it?
That's your fine local law enforcement training to do what they do best, and they train to not be able to have to use those firearms, but when they have to be trained in it, and they shoot all the time. They have to. They don't just carry a gun that with dust on it.
Well,
that sucker's being used. Well,
here's the thing, Bo, and I found this out after talking to a few deputies, that the county is not going to supply you ammunition, or they didn't supply you ammunition to go and train. Okay, you got to pay for it yourself. So when you do that,
you're going to get less training. So I'm sure that they could, if they haven't already made deals with, there's that Burrow Bullets that's in Shelbyville. I'm sure they've got some that that they can work out a deal for
most everybody's calling carrying 9mm. They got 9mm. Maybe they can get a bulk discount or something.
Maybe something. And I'm sure there is something there. Maybe.
Man, I remember.
I don't really know if that's
over at Dunham Sports, you can buy a 5-gallon bucket.
Oh, I know now. It's down right now until something crazy. Stock up until the next election. Who knows? But.
Talking about we're breaking up real bad. Hard to hear. Well, let's see. I don't know what could be going on. Tell me if it changes.
Test 1, 2.
Let's see. We want y'all to hear what's going on. Maybe we're just not. It's set like it's supposed to be. Josh was on here a little bit earlier. We did have the wrong mic on because we had a computer boot that we didn't anticipate. Can y'all hear? Is this playing now? Testing. Somebody respond there. Kimberly, can you cutting in and out? Clear as a crystal. Okay. All right, Kimberly, it might be on your side. If it's cutting in and out, it could be maybe a speaker or something.
But thank you for letting us know.
Thanks for letting us know.
I mean, because Josh let us know something wasn't right earlier.
All right, Josh, sounding good from here.
And we talk a lot.
Good ones. Yeah, we might our brain sometimes overruns.
I crack
and
a
it
lot.
Might start popping in our head.
Yeah, I crack.
That could be it. All right, so
I'm overloaded.
Right. Let's move on from that. Let's talk about one other thing of local concern. Um, we got a report yesterday. Josh published it. Uncle Nearest, our receiver, made his October 1st report. I'm not going to go into it very long. I'll just say this: we will be diving into that Saturday morning on the weekend wrap-up show. But it looks like this receiver is going to try to piece some things together and scrape all he can to try to save this and possibly sell it.
Yeah,
to somebody. That's the way the report
the way
read.
it's looking like, the way I've heard, and I have talked to Josh about it a little bit before the report was released, but apparently they're looking for any things that they own. I know that they have the box factory, and there's a few other assets, the bank, U.S. Bank, and they're trying to just kind of get everything together.
Yeah,
I know that the judge, so that did come out.
Yeah, and it looked
yesterday.
like from 2024 and behind, they have no financial records, and I don't know how that happens. All right, so that's a problem.
Yeah.
All right, and you got a lot of investors. He said hundreds of investors have been calling him, and they don't have records of who invested where. So
you're not hearing a lot anymore from, I don't guess.
I think now, I think they got to kind of sit back and let this guy do his job and tell him. Yeah. He's going to tell them where it's at, where it stands, and he's going to answer to Farm Credit.
Yeah, and that's judge, and as he should. I mean, this is a lawful process that's happening right here.
Kimberly, sorry about that. I think it was my AirPods. Them things will do that if they're not charged up just right.
Kimberly, it's your AirPods.
Right. But anyway, we'll talk about that Saturday. Let's now talk about our government has closed down Bo. And I'm just tore all pieces about it. I just don't know if I'm gonna make it or not.
I don't know if I mean, look, that's probably why I'm breaking up. It's no, look, hey, look, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed in my world, and nothing has changed in your world or your world. And if it has, then you are one of the lucky few.
Here's what's changed. Okay, national parks have closed down, and I heard on the news this morning that at the Liberty Bell, that's a national park in Philadelphia, that they wouldn't let anybody in.
Well,
all right. So,
hold on. Let's remember what Obama did back in the day, though. He covered it up where you couldn't view it anymore.
Okay, yeah, I know. Yeah,
I'm glad we didn't go that far.
All right. So here's the thing: no planes have fallen out of the sky. Social Security checks are still going to be cut.
NPR still on the radio.
NPR, well,
PBS.
Who cares? I mean, honestly.
But it seriously. I mean,
why would you listen to NPR
exactly
and PBS when you got real talk?
Who wants the government's opinion?
I mean, you got us. What would you want NPR and all that? I mean, we can make up a bunch of stuff and talk about it, Bo, and that's what they do.
Well, so, we're not news media. We're just real talk. We're two country guys just talking, and there happens to be a microphone right there.
Yeah, rednecks.
Yeah,
rednecks.
Call it.
So you got this government situation going on, and you got Trump making memes with Hakeem Jeffries and Sambaro, and that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, it's hilarious. I mean, it's our government is so laughable right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I get up and I'm laughing every day.
It is on both sides, but the Democrats side especially. I mean, they're going berserk. I mean, they have nothing to hold on, no real issues, and they're so flimsy that it's I'm glad because I feel like that they're almost anti-American in some ways. There are some true kind of Democrats that are the old kind, but not many. Most of them are radical left, anti-Americans. I mean, obviously AOC will be taking the place of Chuck Schumer soon. Probably that's the goings on.
Well, we talked about this the other day. Eric Adams pulled out of the race. He was a Democrat. Now we've got on that side, and I don't know who would be on the Republican side.
I haven't heard it. I don't say that plugged in. I'm sure there
New York City mayor could be a communist.
And
he doesn't say he's a socialist. He just says I'm a communist. Basically,
he admits that, and that's kind of anti-American statement. I mean, we're not a communist. We are not a communist country. Our government is not.
Are we not?
Well, we're not supposed to be. I mean, our Constitution and our founding documents, founding father, they were founded on common principles that we all signed to. That's what I
was talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about this very thing. We were talking about how much in taxes that the American people pay, and they're printing money so fast. Yeah. And they're handing it to every country on the planet. Why don't they just help us out with the money they're printing?
Yeah, well, I mean,
that would be nice.
It almost is like we're a communist. Everybody just get their free share.
By the way, if there's anybody out there listening, and I'm looking for a source for a very special bird for a friend of mine, I'm looking for a peacock. which has nothing to do with the government closing down, by the way. But I got a friend that needs a peacock,
Okay.
something that's really, really loud and obnoxious. If anybody knows where I can get a peacock, please let me know.
They are very obnoxious.
All
I
right,
see some.
so back on topic. I don't know why
I thought you might
of
be
a
going
peacock.
into the feather business or something.
No.
Okay.
It's,
They do have pretty feathers. I mean, let's just
but
call
they're
it like
the
we
most
said.
obnoxious,
They
loudest
are.
mess I've
They
ever
are.
heard
They
in
are.
my life.
I've been scared to death a few times in my life, and one of them was at night in a peacock.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
All
was
right.
bad.
Well, Bo, this weekend, hopefully we're going to have some other good weather. We got two of our high school football teams playing.
Yep.
We've got Cascade playing. They're hosting Giles County. And then you got Community going to Forest over at Chapel Hill playing.
That's almost
Shelbyville
local.
Central is got the week off. So a lot of those fans maybe could go to one of the other two schools.
I don't see why not.
Next week, we're going to have a racking horse celebration in town for a whole week. So that's what's going on at Cooper Steel. Outside of that, Bo, nothing else is going on. And next week, you're not going to be whittling tomorrow, but next week you'll be whittling.
The whittling will start. No whittling tomorrow, but
right.
the next following week it'll be at 9 a.m. and it'll be on the square. Pencil in on your calendars, but we'll talk about it more next week.
And anybody that knows where I can get a peacock, just send me a private message. We'll see you guys.